The trust that someone could have earned in 20 years can be destroyed in a few seconds. I know it seems unfair, but should we settle for this type of people? That is, should we forgive? Mahatma Gandhi says, respect is not demanded, it is earned. Whether they are friends, partners, family, or even co-workers, we must keep them away from our lives if they do not give us the same commitment that we give them. Marcus Aurelius once, among his many wise teachings, said, "He who is not with you is against you." It sounds somewhat ridiculous from a superficial perspective, but if we analyze this phrase better, we would understand that even if some people do not dedicate loyalty to us, that should not keep us awake at night. Only people who, as Marcus Aurelius said, are with you should be important. Walking away from people who don't help you grow is crucial to your mental well-being and personal development. These people may be toxic, negative, or simply not have the same values and interests as you. Surrounding yourself with people who inspire and motivate you to be better is essential to your happiness and success. And maybe things are not going well for you because of something you do wrong, but because the people around you are not in the same tune as you, and their bad energy is contagious. Today I will tell you about 10 people you should stay away from. Apply my advice and I assure you that sooner rather than later, your life will change for the better. But before starting, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you will be aware of when I upload more Stoic advice that will brighten your life and make you a more resilient person. Well, without further delay, let's start the video. Number 1. Manipulative people. Your emotional well-being and building healthy relationships are critical to your happiness and personal development. On this path, it is crucial to identify and avoid manipulative people whose selfish behavior seeks to obtain benefits at the expense of others. But how do we recognize them? Well, they hide information, distort the truth, or lie to get what they want. They try to control your behavior, decisions, and emotions through emotional blackmail, blaming, or victimization. They are not interested in your needs, feelings, or well-being. They use your emotions to get what they want, playing on your feelings of guilt, obligation, or fear. Manipulative people take advantage of the effect that their actions have had on the victim's self-esteem to make them believe that if that relationship breaks down, one of them will be able to overcome it, but the other will be totally helpless because they will not be able to fend for themselves and rebuild their lives. How should we respond to people like that? Manipulative and very selfish, who try to use your feelings to control you. The main thing is to identify them, then set clear boundaries, define which behaviors are acceptable to you and which are not. Express your discomfort with any type of manipulation in an assertive and direct way. You must also know how to trust your intuition. That is, if something seems wrong to you, it probably is. Important, don't be intimidated. Manipulators will try to pressure you or make you feel guilty to get what they want. Maintain your position and do not give in to their demands. And the best thing you can do is distance yourself. If the manipulation persists or is causing you emotional damage, walking away is the best option. Prioritize your mental health and well-being. Number 2, people who criticize and gossip. Gossip has a triple poison because it harms the one who says it, the one who hears it, and the person of whom it speaks. Those who are dedicated to spreading rumors and gossip are very harmful in any situation. This is because they consume your positive energy. They fill you with negativity, and in addition, there is always a group willing to believe everything they are in charge of disseminating everywhere. But rather than showing something about the person they criticize, what they do is expose their own character, as if a spotlight were illuminating the narrator. It's important to know when to stay away from people who practice this behavior, much like looking for a clearing in a thick forest where healthy relationships can flourish. On the occasions when a person comes to me to spread a rumor, I tell them the story of Socrates and the 3 filters. Listen to this. A disciple came to Socrates' house very agitated to tell him, "Master, I want to tell you how a friend of yours was talking about you with malevolence." Socrates interrupted him by saying, "Wait, have you already made what you are going to tell me pass through the 3 filters?" "The 3 filters?" the disciple wonders. "Yes," replied Socrates. "The first filter is truth. Have you already carefully examined whether what you want to tell me is true in all its points?" "No, I heard it from some neighbors," the young man replies. But at least you will have put it through the second filter, which is goodness. Is what you want to tell me at least good? No, not really. On the contrary. Ah, interrupted Socrates. Then let's go to the last filter. Is it necessary for you to tell me that? To be honest, no, it is not necessary. Socrates smiles and says, if it is not true, nor good, nor necessary, let's bury him in oblivion. I want you to practice all three filters before spreading a rumor. Don't be that person that others should part with. Avoiding these individuals is sensible, like a sailor who moves away from rough seas. Gossips, rumors, and slanderers lack positive qualities. My advice is, be careful when sharing your life with those who do not show you respect or understanding, who easily speak ill of others can easily turn against you. Number 3, false positivity. False positivity is an attitude that appears to be optimistic and happy, but in reality hides negative emotions such as sadness, fear, or insecurity. This is also known as toxic happiness. According to the American psychologist Martin Seligman, in his book The Optimistic Child, pessimism is not something we are born with, but we develop it. That is, we become pessimistic about what happens to us in life. However, he also proposed that we can counteract this pessimism and modify our negative thoughts for more positive ones. Does it mean that if I feel sad, I just have to be happy? Not exactly. In fact, if you try, you can incur the problem of toxic positivity, because to face negative emotions, you cannot deny them. You must first admit them. Avoiding suffering is a form of suffering. The denial of failure is a failure. But not only being toxically positive is a problem, but there are also people who always have a smile on their face and who offer to help anyone who needs it, of course. This can seem very nice and sociable. However, don't be fooled by appearances. Behind that facade of kindness and extroversion, there may be someone who only seeks their own benefit and who does not care about the quality of the relationships they establish. For this person, you may be just a means to get more popularity and attention, and not a true friend or ally. These people usually live in a fantasy where everything revolves around them, and they need to be surrounded by people constantly. Therefore, it is better to be prudent and not rely on them too much, because they can easily replace you with someone else in your social circle. So, when dealing with these types of individuals, keep in mind that not everything is as it seems, and that a smile is not always sincere or selfless. Number 4, inattentive person. When you talk to someone, you expect that person to listen carefully and get involved in the topic. However, sometimes you find people who respond with monosyllables, such as I understand or clear, without showing real interest. This can be boring and inconsiderate. Even worse, when it's the other person's turn to talk, they seem to be not paying attention to you, getting distracted by their phone or nodding half-heartedly. Has it happened to you? Well, if so, you'll understand how demotivating this is. In a conversation, it is normal for both parties to communicate actively and respectfully. So if you feel like the other person isn't listening or doesn't care about what you're saying, you can think about ending the conversation. There's no point in continuing to talk to someone who acts like you're alone. Keep in mind that your time and words are valuable. Don't hesitate to cut off the interaction or even express your decision to leave. You don't have to tolerate someone who doesn't value what you share and prefers to pretend to be interested while looking at their phone. It's about respecting your own time and words in the context of meaningful conversations. Number 5, lacking empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share other people's feelings, emotions, and perspectives. It is a skill that allows us to connect with others and establish meaningful and fulfilling relationships. However, there are people who have little or no empathy, which makes it difficult for them to live together and their well-being. How to identify a person lacking empathy? Starting with the fact that they do not understand the emotions of others. They are indifferent or insensitive to the emotional situations of others. They also take many rights and place all obligations on the other. In addition to their lack of humility, they do not have filters or a little tact when saying things, even as true as they are. They confuse sincerity with the fact of saying everything they think without caring if they can hurt or annoy the other. These people who lack empathy can negatively affect your mental and emotional health, as well as your self-esteem and confidence. Continuing to familiarize yourself with these people will only make you feel misunderstood, lonely, or isolated. In addition to feelings of guilt, anxiety, and a lot of stress. As the philosopher Immanuel Kant said, it treats people as an end in themselves, never as a means. Empathy is a fundamental value for human coexistence, as it allows us to respect, understand, and help others. Empathy is the basis of emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman, psychologist. Number 6. People who just want to be right. Sometimes it can be difficult to deal with people who always believe they are right, especially if their opinions are contrary to ours or if they are unwilling to listen to other points of view. These people can generate conflicts, frustration, and stress in our personal and professional relationships. Therefore, in some cases, it may be advisable to stay away from them or limit contact as much as possible. Do you know what is advisable to do with this type of person? Avoid unnecessary and exhausting discussions. People who always believe they are right are usually stubborn, arrogant, and inflexible. They do not accept that they may be wrong or that there are other ways of seeing things. Therefore, trying to reason with them or make them change their minds is almost impossible and only leads to wasting time and energy. In addition, these people may be aggressive, offensive, or disrespectful when they feel questioned or threatened. Therefore, it is better to avoid entering into debates or confrontations with them and to keep a prudent distance. We can only ignore them so as not only not to stress, but also to preserve our self-esteem and confidence. People who believe they are always right can negatively affect our self-esteem and confidence, especially if they constantly make us feel inferior, ignorant, or wrong. These people can undermine our confidence and our value with their criticism, mockery, or disqualifications. And even though we know we're right, is it worth wasting our time with this kind of person? Remember, the fool screams, the intelligent speaks, while the wise man is silent. Number 7. Dramatic people. We must stay away from people who live in a conflictive environment with themselves and life. He is not satisfied with anything, but he does nothing to improve his situation either. They have a tendency to complain to others, to expose their difficulties, and to plead ignorance about what is happening around them. It is no coincidence or bad luck that someone is always immersed in an endless chain of problems. In many cases, the person contributes to their own adversity by making wrong decisions and repeating mistakes without learning from them. Relating to this type of person can imply assuming their problems as one's own. In addition, they may have trouble regulating their emotions, which adds more complication. The best way to protect yourself from people who cause you stress and discomfort is to maintain a cordial, respectful, and distant attitude. Don't get carried away by their problems or negative emotions. The solution is to reduce contact with them gradually. You've done the right thing by walking away, don't doubt it. Toxic behaviors can be contagious and affect your mental and physical health. So don't torment yourself. Each person has the right to choose who they want to relate to and who they don't. That is the essence of life, to choose. To be happy, you have to choose, firmly, without guilt. Your emotional well-being is the most important thing, for you and for those who love you. Therefore, staying away from those people who you think do not bring you anything positive is a good choice. He ends up having as minimal a relationship as possible. If it is non-existent, so much the better. The benefit to your mental and physical health will be great. Number 8. Double-faced people. Beware of this type of person. They are not sincere or loyal. But how do we recognize them? Is it difficult? To identify if there is someone fake around you, be aware if you always smile. You will know if their smile is fake, because there is something that makes them uncomfortable, and a smile gives the feeling of warmth and empathy. You can detect the fake smile when it is accompanied by open eyes or no crow's feet. An authentic smile is called Duchenne, which is a type of smile that involves the contraction of the zygomaticus major and minor muscles near the mouth, and it is believed that the Duchenne smile is produced as an involuntary response to a genuine emotion. It is considered a genuine smile. It is also important to observe their body language. This can reveal a lot about what a person thinks or feels, even if they say otherwise. For example, if a person looks you in the eye while talking, it may indicate that they are honest and trustworthy. But if you avoid eye contact, touch your nose or mouth, or cross your arms, it may be a sign that you're lying or hiding something. Pay attention to their words. Fake or double-faced people often say things that don't match their actions or that change according to convenience. For example, they may compliment you when you're present, but criticize you when you're not. Or they may promise you something, but then break it or excuse themselves. They may also be inconsistent in their opinions or values and adapt to what they think others want to hear. Also, notice how he treats others. Fake or double-faced people do not usually have equal treatment with all people, but vary according to the interest they have in each one. For example, they may be very kind and attentive to someone who may benefit them, but despise or ignore someone they consider inferior or irrelevant. They can also be manipulative or preying and use others to get what they want. And finally, to finally know if a person is fake or not, trust your intuition. Sometimes we may feel that something is not right with a person, even though we cannot explain why. This is because our intuition picks up on subtle signals that alert us that the person is not to be trusted. If you feel that a person generates distrust, discomfort, or discomfort, it is possible that it is false or two-faced. Don't ignore your intuition and stay away from that person if you can. Number 9, boring people. It sounds cruel, but you should stay away from boring people who have nothing interesting to contribute, who have no passions or projects, and who settle for routine. The reason is because these people simply have no motivation, curiosity, creativity, or initiative. These characteristics are important for personal and professional development, as well as for emotional well-being. Therefore, staying away from boring people could be beneficial to avoid the contagion of their apathy, their conformism, and their lack of illusion. Of course, we could question this advice from a certain point of view, and it could imply an attitude of intolerance, prejudice, and superiority towards people who do not share our interests, our passions, or our projects. Even so, success is achieved like this, as long as there is respect and empathy. Wanting to opt for people who make you grow does not mean an act of disrespect. It depends a lot on the criteria used to define what is a boring person and what is an interesting person. It also depends a lot on the context in which this advice is given and the purpose pursued with it. In fact, psychologists have found benefits to boredom because research has suggested that when we experience boredom and seek some stimulation, most people try to find a creative solution to it. So much so that fantasies are often used to fill our imagination with the fun things we would like to do. In addition, when people look for ways not to get bored, sometimes they give up and begin to analyze their lives and themselves. In these cases, boredom is an effective way to reflect on who we are and our lives in order to make changes that we may need. But if you notice the difference between being a boring person and a person looking to get out of boredom, so follow your intuition, seek to grow as a person, help those around you. But if they show stubbornness to get stuck, it's better to stay away from those people who don't add to you. Number 10, toxic people. Healthy relationships and emotional well-being are critical, and toxic people can put them at risk. These people have the ability to generate negativity, affect self-esteem, and create a harmful climate. Its toxicity can be expressed in different ways, such as constant criticism, emotional manipulation, or disrespectful attitudes. The presence of toxic people often leads to a destructive environment, which hinders happiness and performance. The negativity they spread can be contagious, impacting those around them. Toxic relationships, whether they are couples, family, or friends, can negatively affect our mental and physical health, causing symptoms such as stress, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and psychosomatic problems. It is essential to identify and move away from these harmful influences to preserve healthy relationships. Toxic people can damage self-esteem, as they tend to generate doubts and insecurities. Respecting oneself involves detecting signs of toxicity, setting limits, and prioritizing emotional well-being. It is important to communicate assertively and express discomfort in the face of toxic behavior. However, if the negativity does not stop, moving away becomes a necessary action to take care of mental health. Avoiding trust and respect for toxic people is a form of emotional self-defense. By recognizing harmful behaviors, setting boundaries, and fostering positive relationships, you can create a healthier environment and foster nurturing bonds. It is about generating a space that promotes well-being and positivity in the midst of the complex fabric of relationships. Many times we allow gossips, envious people, authoritarian people, psychopaths, the proud, the mediocre, in short, toxic people, mistaken people who permanently evaluate what we say and what we do, or what we don't say and don't do, to enter our most intimate circle. Bernardo Stamatios. Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches us to live according to nature, to accept what we cannot control, and to focus on what does depend on us. Based on this, we must stay away from people who disturb us, who make us lose our serenity, and who divert us from our purpose. It is not about rejecting or judging anyone, but about choosing who we share our time and energy with. In this video, I have given you valuable tools to identify these people who do not add to your life and that you should keep away. It is not about victimizing ourselves or blaming others, but about protecting our well-being and our self-esteem. By moving away from toxic people, we get closer to positive people, those who inspire us, support us, and help us be better. If you liked the video, give it a like. For more tips like this, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell. Well, this is not goodbye. It is a see you later. I'll be waiting for you in the next video.